It's a fear home for our Thursday night cheer with the boys over here, the Hilchos Shabbos and something on the Parsha usually. So I just want to point out a beautiful thought on the Parsha. We're all people who are in the working world and interacting and dealing with money, different things. And this week's Parsha is Parshat Mishpatim, and it has a ton of halachos of bein adam l'chavero and dealing with money. And it's just an incredible thing. Going through this parsha, especially with the parish of Moshe David Valley. I'm very into this parish. I quote from quite a bit, and he just points out, in so many different places, the chachmas of Torah, the sensitivity of the Torah, and many places like the contrast between the Torah and what other perspectives are without it. One of them is just incredible that he points out. We know there's a famous idea. Certainly, anybody who read the book, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or saw the movie, right? So there's the idea of sanctuary, right? And in a church, in a cathedral, right? So no matter what a person did in the medieval times, right, if they went into a church, right, they got sanctuary. You know what I'm talking about? You heard this concept?
No.
You never heard this idea? You ever read the book? Hunchback? I'm sorry?
No.
Not confessional. That's in the Catholic Church. That's you go in and you do vidui, the havdil. But no, sanctuary was an idea that in the Christian church, no matter what a person was, a thief, a robber, a murderer, whatever a person was, if they went into a church, you could not arrest them there. It's called sanctuary. I'm sorry?
It's a Torah concept.
Well, it's a Torah completely mekulkal. The Torah concept has that in a very, very limited zone. But a person who's a known murderer. So it says in this week's parsha, but if you have a person who kills somebody by real, even from my mizbeach, take him out to die, meaning if he's chayv misa. And Chazal Darshan, what does this mean? It means even a Kohen who's going to do the avoda, you pull him off the mizbeach to carry out the sentence. In other words, like the opposite. There's no such thing as sanctuary in the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash expunges the tumah, it spits it out. As opposed to what he would consider tumah itself, which attracts tumah. So, and he says that's why also there's always the cemeteries outside churches, which you don't really find outside. So the same idea, like tumah attracts tumah, and he said that's why they have all the. Okay, he speaks about this a lot in different places. That wasn't the point I wanted to get to. He says an unbelievable thing in one of the halachos that we learn, incredible sensitivity that a person has to have. When it comes to money and dealing with money and being yashar with another person, being erlich and being straight. He talks about this halacha that if a person has a slave, the halacha is if a person, if they hit their slave and if they kill the slave, the chayv misa. If the person hits the slave and causes damage, so then they have to take care of them. But if he knocks out an aver, if he breaks an aver, like breaks a finger off or even a tooth, punches him in the tooth.
There's 24. Right?
I'm sorry.
24 different.
Yeah, all different ivarim that are listed, different limbs that are counted, but even a tooth is one of them. So then the slave goes free, and that's the halacha, the gzeres hakasuv. So Rav Ali asks this question. He says it's a very interesting thing, because let's think about this for a second. If in a Jewish court, right, if two people go to Beis Din and one person punches the other one in the face outside of Beis Din, and they walk in there, so there's that thing we have to pay. There's 5 things: sheves, ripui, boshes, tsar, and refuah. You have to pay for the healing. You have to pay for the loss of work if there was any, for the embarrassment, for the sheves, ripui, boshes, tzar, for the pain that was involved, and okay, no, it's slipped my mind. Maybe I even said it. I'm not sure. Anyway, that you have to pay. But let's say for a tooth, what are we talking about? Tzachakol, you're not missing any work for it. There's not a real embarrassment about it. Even if you're going to get the most expensive, replacement tooth, you're talking about a few $100s, a few $1,000s. What a slave is a slave. A slave, is somebody that you own. Him and his generations after him. It's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't know what slaves go for on the market, Rahman al nowadays. But let's say in the time where this was acceptable. You're talking about a massive amount of money, and just for knocking out a tooth, right? It's completely incommensurate, not comparable to how much a person would have to pay for the same amount of damage caused to a fellow Jew. So he explains that because it has to do with the inyan of Chilul Hashem, because the whole world knows that a slave is the lowest of the low. Nobody to stand up for them, nobody to defend them. There is nobody. The master of the slave is the master of the slave. He's the only one that is in control and can help the slave and can save the slave and do anything. And if the master himself is going to turn on the slave and cause harm to the slave, so who else can stand up for him except for Hashem? Yeah, so Hashem says the slave goes free. right? And it's exeris hakasuv to show. And he says, and this person who is losing a lot of money now, on account, again, he deserves to lose money. He deserves to lose something. If you did anybody, he would have to pay. But Lamaisi is losing way more than he would have to, right? A guy, got a little bit upset and punched somebody. So let's say the courts, they would award a person nowadays, $50,000 for getting hit. This guy's paying $5 million, for punching, So what's the shot? He says, no. So he has to chalk that up to the Kiddush Hashem. He has to say that this is money spent on making a Kiddush Hashem, and that's what he says. He says, any money that you lose on being yashar, any money that you lose on being being ehrlich and taking the high road, and even if you have a reason why, but if it's going to come out that you're going to end up looking shady, especially in the eyes of the goyim, but even other Jews. So he says, so that's what you learn from this. Not necessarily mechuyev to in every situation, right? There's halachos, but the idea, the approach that is way better to give up on taking some money at the expense of the Chil Hashem, and you see that's what the Torah tells us by the slave, that a person has to be mevater, give up all of that money to make sure that nobody is a taina on the Torah's way and says that, oh look, the Torah lets a person take advantage of the weak and the unprotected, and for that Kiddush Hashem, I'll read you the lashon inside just to see. He says, "Makom Yashav Libo to Kiddush Hashem Adif Hu Davar Gadol LaKadosh Baruch Hu Yomali Chesrono." He says Hashem will pay him back. He says Hashem will pay you back. A person spends money to be Kavodahi Lasos Kiddush Hashem Eitzel Umos Sheyomru Zuhi Torah Shlema Shemashgeches Al Kol Abrios Voseres Makas Achzari. You see, the Torah cares about everybody, and the slaves, which no other society cares about. The Torah's got rules and laws to protect the slave. So that's about here, but anytime a person sees a frum person being yasher with their money and being mevater and giving in, it just makes it Kiddush Hashem. So as you see, it's kedai. Oh, we'll sneeze on it. Okay, we'll get the Ilchos Shabbos now.
All right, that's parenthood right there.